Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. This is Ankai Media. We are your host. My name is Ocean Simeon.
I'm Taylor Vera.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Today, we're going to do a reverse of what we did yesterday. So, yesterday, if you guys follow the channel, you will see that we put out our top 10 movies for 2022. This video featured a guest star. So, somebody you've never seen before, somebody brand new to the channel. So, I highly recommend you go check out that video. And you'll also find out what our favorite movies of the year were. But we also thought it was prudent for us to do the worst movies of the year. This time we're only going to do 5. We're going to do the 5 worst movies of the year. And these movies, we're not experts. Right? We don't understand the super intricate details of all of the technicalities and all that stuff. But the movies that we're about to share with you guys are the 5 movies that we disliked the most this year. So we're going to go through them one by one, and we'll talk about why, and we'll talk about, maybe if we might be sad, why not? Why? Maybe you shouldn't have disliked it that much. But this should be a fun one because it's mostly going to be shit talking about stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And I think there's going to be a lot of controversy around some of these picks. So stay tuned, stay with us. And then if you guys have anything to refute what we say, like there's a movie that we put on here that you're like, no, you're wrong. Please feel free to put it down in the comments below why we're wrong and why you think we should have liked the movie. So without further ado, we'll get right into it. Okay, we'll start off with number 5. I'll go first. My number 5 worst movie of 2022 is Moonfall. I don't know if you watched it or not.
I did not. I do remember seeing it.
Yeah, it was not good. There were some fun parts to it. Like there's some good action, but the physics behind it was really hard to swallow. Because the movie basically denotes a story about the moon coming closer to the Earth, and it causes all kinds of problems, obviously. And then there's this group of scientists / astronauts that are trying to fix it, and then they got to go to the moon to fix it, and then turns out the moon's hollow, and actually a ship or something. It's made it's not a natural organic thing. It's a fake moon basically. And I know that that's like an actual theory out there. Apparently, there's people out there that believe the moon is not a real thing. I guess.
Sure.
But yeah, it was a flop. Right. Let's be honest. Okay. A lot of the acting was really subpar. The writing was really bad, and there's just so many points in the movie where I was just like, what is happening? And how is this even remotely... Like, at one point, the moon was, like, a couple 100 feet from the surface of the Earth. And I was just like... And everybody's just fine?
Pretty close.
Everybody's just okay? Like, yeah, no, sorry. It was bad. And then the way it ended was it was really unsatisfying. Yeah. But whatever. That's number 5 for me. What do you got for number 5, Ted?
My number 5. I don't know how this is going to make people feel, but it's Fantastic Beasts, Secrets of Dumbledore.
Okay.
I do like Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Even though I have some opinions about it as the saga or whatever continued throughout the years. I just feel like this movie was just kind of doomed from its inception because of the allegations of Johnny Depp, and I think first of all, I don't think Fantastic Beasts needed another movie to begin with.
Okay.
Because I do think the first 2 were good, especially the first one. But you're going to carry on the story, completely change the actor for a villain who is very important, and then the interjection of things that I feel like don't need to be there. This comes up a lot, but Dumbledore, if you remember, because I think you saw this, right?
So, all right. So, on that note, I did see this movie. I did see Secrets of Dumbledore. It's actually it's an episode that we lost. I don't know if you remember.
That's right.
But for you guys, we actually did a reaction or a review of this movie, but we lost some of the footage and some of the audio and stuff, and so we had to scrap it.
Yeah.
We had to scrap the video, or scrap the episode. So I did watch it, but I did not watch any of the other Fantastic Beasts. Okay. I've watched all of the Harry Potters, but this is the first Fantastic Beast that I have seen.
Yeah. So nothing about this really was good in my opinion, other than the fact that it was shot competently. Like everything looked good, the visual effects are good. It's just the entire story just felt really dumb to me. I don't know why Dumbledore was homosexual all of a sudden. To me, it felt sudden.
That was
I never once cared about his sexuality in Harry Potter. And this is kind of what I mean, where Harry Potter to me kind of gradually changes throughout the years. Of course, people get older, but not just that. They started interjecting things that to me were never important to the story. And so it loses focus. And this movie just to me felt so off like the entire time. Now, I can't remember his name. It's like Mads, whatever, the guy who plays for Johnny Depp. He's a great actor and I love him. And he, he plays the role, but it's like I can feel that this was changed.
Yes.
Like the entire movie felt different in the sense that I knew, and this might just be a Warner Brothers thing because they seem to have issues with all kinds of actors. But
what?
Yeah. I just wasn't a fan of it at all. I feel like it kind of made the characters and everything that I enjoyed from the first two worse because of it. And it just left a really bad taste for me for Harry Potter as a universe and franchise overall.
Yeah, I didn't like the movie. I thought it was I really didn't like the whole homosexuality part. Not because I'm homophobic or anything, but it just like I was like, why are we like? Since when is this a part of Harry Potter?
Yeah,
like that's not what I watch Harry Potter for. And I get this is technically different, but it's still the same world. So, I didn't like that. But because I hadn't seen the first two Fantastic Beasts prior to watching the movie, I really didn't have any expectation going into it, and I didn't know like you said, like you didn't think there needed to be another movie, but in my head I'm like, oh, this is just a continuation on, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, I don't like the movie, but wasn't like, I guess, horrible. But I can understand from somebody that was more invested than I was why it would be so shitty. Yeah. All right. Number 4. What do you got for number 4?
Number 4, it's of course a movie we've done, and it's Pray for the Devil.
You know what's funny is that was on my list for a little while, but I felt like I couldn't put it on there because I'm not a scary movie connoisseur. So I
can see that.
I feel like I can't badmouth the movie because it's not like I really know what a good one is.
That's almost why it makes sense for me to have it, because I feel insulted as a fan of these kind of things.
That genre,
And for this movie to come out, like I don't really want to harp on it too much, because if you do, just go watch a review on it.
It's actually really funny.
I will shit it, plenty there, but it's a really bad movie. It doesn't have that many two good things to say about it, other than the fact that
there's really
looked all right. There's no issues with that, and that's about it.
There's really no good things.
And a lot of the stuff they, put into it is almost insulting again to its, I I guess, source.
Predecessors.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all for having it. In fact, it was actually number 4 on my list for a while. And then I ended up pulling it out for that reason. But number 4 for me might cause a little bit of controversy here. Number 4 for me is Turning Red. Did you ever watch that movie?
Yes, I've seen it.
I hated that movie. I hated the themes and the message that it sent and the subliminal things that it portrayed, and because it's aimed at young kids.
I feel like I thought about that movie for a while. For a lot of these movies, I try to really consider why I didn't like it or I liked it.
Yeah,
and that movie did stand out to me because I watched it. I'm like, it's not very good, but it's like it wasn't so horrible to me that like compared to some of these other ones, but it definitely felt off to me. And I tried to chalk that up to the fact that it felt targeted to like little girls specifically.
Right. So that's my issue with the movie. Obviously, the movie functions. There are some funny points in the movie.
The animation is fine and everything.
Yeah, and all of that is fine, and even like the dialogue is written well. But I cannot stand what was written, if that makes sense. Like the movie functions well as a movie. It's just the message that the movie is sending to me is atrocious. Like, and the intended audience as well. If you take this story and you age it maybe another 2 or 3 years, and your intended audience is like, older teenagers, like 15 to 18 or whatever, and you're intending for it to be a good-hearted movie and whatnot, like I can understand that, and I would be behind that. But the age of the kids in this movie were 13. They were 13 years old in this movie. And they
had a lot of weird...
Dude, there was a lot of very inappropriate things to me. Yeah.
Innuendos.
Very much so. At 13.
Yeah.
Most people aren't even in high school yet at 13. So, like, I cannot stand that a Disney... Pretty sure it's Disney.
Yeah, it was Disney.
Okay, I want to make sure I don't bad mouth. I'm like 95% sure it's Disney.
I'm pretty sure it's just Disney.
Yeah. So, like, I cannot stand that they were portraying these young kids in this light and making it seem like it was okay for kids to just completely disobey their parents and go against whatever their parents say just because the kid thinks it's the right thing to do. And all of the sexual innuendos and all of that stuff, and the kid dressing promiscuously and whatnot, like it was really bad to me. Like I was sitting there the whole time like, what am I watching? Like, what is happening here? Yeah. I understand why a lot of people were drawn to it because, like I said, I think that if you age the whole movie like another 2 to 3 years, and make it about like a 16-year-old daughter that is in her rebellious years and teenager angst and all of that stuff, and then going on to do the climax in the movie where she ends up saving everybody's lives and all, whatever, like, and that, if it was that, then I would be able to understand that because it's a more appropriate audience to do that for. But for a bunch of young girls, you're teaching them that it's okay to walk around in a crop top and short shorts, and telling them that it's okay to just talk back to your parents whenever the hell you want. Like, people might not think it's a big deal, but I really think it is. Like, I really think it's a big deal that something that any 13-year-old could just hop on Disney Plus and watch, and with like very little oversight, and get those ideas in their head. Like, that's just not a good thing to have.
Yeah.
For those kids.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I did not like Turning Red at all. So yeah.
Totally understand.
Yeah.
Makes sense. I mean, I guess that's kind of how I felt. I just didn't really put so much thought while watching it into like why I felt the way.
Well, I put the thought into it because I actually had somebody, I'm not going to name them. I had somebody argue me on it, and they were trying to tell me that I'm thinking too hard about it and that it doesn't actually matter and like no girls are gonna, whatever. Like there's somebody that was arguing me about it, and I had to actually think about it and formulate arguments and whatnot. So I just, yeah, and yeah, I had to like block it out of my head for a long time, and that's why I Pray for the Devil was in that spot for a long time. And then like I was looking through movies, and I was like, oh right, that's going in there instead of
no, that totally makes sense. Like honestly, the that standing actually makes, I guess, more sense in a morality aspect. So yeah, I totally get it.
All right, moving on to number 3. Number 3 for me, is the Amazon Prime original Samaritan. Look, I love you, Sly. I love you, but this movie was bad. It was really bad. Cool twist at the end. Wasn't really expecting it, but outside of that, the rest of the movie was pretty bad.
Yeah, that's fair. I didn't think it was again like just that. Like I have worse things.
Yeah,
but I understand that completely. I do think there's, we talked about it in the review. I think there's some redeeming ideas in it.
Just wasn't.
It's just the execution of it was not good. I'm gonna imagine the budget for it wasn't very high, and I mean Sly, like your age, was showing in that movie.
Like I said, man, it felt like I said in the review. It felt like Sly just wanted to this was like a character that he had in mind that he wanted to play before he was done making movies.
Yeah,
and so he just made the movie.
Yeah.
My top 3, or my worst 3, I should say, they're all movies that while I was watching it, I wanted to turn it off. That I was just like, man, I'm done with this. But I ended up sticking through it for the channel, for you guys, ladies and gentlemen.
Doing the dirty work.
Dealt with the pain for you. What do you have at number 3, Taylor?
So my number 3, and this seems to be a recurring theme, is Lightyear.
Ooh. Okay, so this is a perfect pause button thing real quick that we didn't mention before we started. But just like if you guys watched our top 10 movies of the year episode that we released yesterday, this list is, or our lists are only going to be movies that we actually watched. So like for me, I never watched Lightyear.
Yeah.
But I imagine that if I had, it probably would end up on this list. So yeah, just keep that in mind while we're talking about this, because
there's like wish we had more time to watch everything for different reasons, but even my list, like, we're only doing 5, but there's I know there's things I've missed that I would probably put on here. I just forgot. But yeah, so Lightyear, another
Lightyear, man.
Disney movie.
It's just ridiculous. I know we keep harping on it, so I won't go get into it, but come on, man. Like, let's leave stuff alone. Let's leave it alone. Let's leave things the way things that are already pre-established. Let's leave them alone. If you want to make a Lightyear movie, fine. But let's not just freaking throw all this other crap in it. Like, it's just a disappointment.
Yeah. This movie on so many levels is awful to me. One, doesn't need to exist.
Yeah.
You already had really cool Buzz Lightyear stuff before. Yeah. Like I didn't look it up, but I am confident when I was a kid, I used to watch a cartoon that had Buzz Lightyear amongst the Star Command and all these other different space rangers, and that was cool.
I remember something like that, yeah.
So I was like, "Why? What is this?" Okay, look, I'm just gonna go over the redeeming qualities of this movie.
Okay.
Visually, animation, and everything, CG looks great.
Isn't it an Illumination Studios film?
No, I think it's just a Disney.
Is it Pixar?
It might be a Pixar. Actually. Okay. Which, if it is, hold on, let me just double check.
Yeah,
because this is actually important.
Because if it's Illumination, then
no, I know it's not.
It was just set up for failure from the beginning.
I know it's not Illumination.
Oh no, that wouldn't make sense because they're not a Disney affiliate.
Okay, company. All right. This is going to add to my argument. This is a Disney Pixar movie.
Yeah.
Look, I know there's some things about Disney, and they have almost their own argument. Pixar, bro, you are supposed to be like the shining knight of animated movies. You guys come out with some of the best movies ever made.
Yeah.
especially for kids movies. This movie is garbage. Like, I love Chris Evans, and you match the character, but the movie is just bad.
Yeah.
You have this like really stupid story of like him. I don't really like the fact that they kind of like make fun of Buzz Lightyear and like Star Command and Space Rangers. Like they kind of like make it like
a poor man's Halo or poor man's Spartan.
I mean, kind of, but like they almost like shit on like astronaut, military, whatever kind of feelings, you know, for the characters. His commander, which look, the commander, she's lesbian. Why? Like it felt very off in this movie. And then like I think that was one of the things that people were praising about it.
Yep.
But they murdered her in the first like 10 minutes. So like,
really?
what are you happy about? Like it didn't make it. It's not like it was shown in a good light or anything. It was just kind of like she's got a lover, and then she's dead, and then like everything is just so bland. It even had Taika Waititi as this like. This is. I will also include Star Wars in this category where you have like the obvious like funny, supposed to be funny. I'll take that back. Supposed to be funny. Like I equate this to droids in Star Wars, where sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And in this movie, it's the fucking cat.
The cat? There's a cat.
Actually, sorry, Taika Waititi doesn't voice the cat, but he plays another character in the movie. But and I love Taika Waititi, but in this movie, it just doesn't match at all, and it's like sometimes I guess kind of funny, but it just feels too.
You're talking about like Taika Waititi's humor style doesn't match the tone of the movie and the writing.
Yeah, kind of. And then the cat, like,
I didn't even know.
I'm sure this made them money because that's probably why he's there.
Bro.
But too much. You're trying too much to like clearly be funny. Make money off of the toys and all that kind of stuff. Wasn't a fan of the like changing of the styling of suits and ships and stuff. It all just felt weird. Like I know they were kind of going for like a slightly more realistic version, but it just doesn't match. Like Buzz Lightyear was popular because it was like intentionally stood out as being like overly futuristic for its time and like kind of goofy in a sense.
Yeah, well, so like for me, it's like Toy Story brought magic to the screen, right? Like that, like they're literally magic toys. They're alive. They're toys that are alive. And then when you take them and you shine them in this light, like Buzz, you're adding so much realism to it that you're taking away the magic that they had in the beginning that made them special to people.
Yeah.
And so now you have this character that you're supposed to care about, you're supposed to like, but because you made it so realistic, there's no magic about him, so you don't recognize them as the same character that you saw in Toy Story.
Yeah, he's not at all. Like this Buzz is nothing like the Buzz Lightyear you see in Toy Story. And the thing is too is like Buzz Lightyear originally when he was created they did not expect him to do well.
Yeah,
like, he exploded and gained so much popularity, and that's why in Pixar, because I even watched like a behind the scenes thing or whatever documentary about it, which led up to this movie. They literally give out awards, and it's a like metal statue of Buzz Lightyear because he was so. Such a surprise, like inspiration to everybody that Pixar literally designates him as like not golden child, but I don't know, like I don't know how you explain it, but
I know what you mean.
Yeah. So clearly, it means so much to them, and then you watch this movie and you're like, oh, bro, what is this? Like, what am I looking at?
Yeah, that's disappointing.
Because I love Buzz Lightyear.
It's disappointing because when they announced the movie, I was kind of excited. I was
too, initially.
This could be interesting. Like, you know, getting some depth on the character, seeing more of Buzz Lightyear, that could be cool. But honestly, ever since the like first trailer or teaser came out, I was turned off. Like I don't think outside of when they first initially announced it, I don't think there's any point where I was actually interested in watching it.
Yeah, well, it's not worth it. Yeah. I wouldn't waste your time. It's unfortunate for multiple reasons. Like I said, I feel like it's just horrible for the character. It's just bad storytelling. Animation looks good, but that doesn't really mean much. And for a Pixar movie on top of that, like I said,
disappointment.
Big disappointment.
That sucks. All right. Moving on to number 2. What you got, brother?
Number 2. This is a Netflix movie, and it's The Man from Toronto. Stars Kevin Hart and Woody Harrelson.
Kevin Hart, Woody Harrelson, Man from Toronto. I don't think I watched this.
No, I doubt you watched this. And
I think I know what you're talking about, but I don't think I watched it.
I'm glad you haven't, because
really?
This movie
that bad?
Sucks.
Oh, yeah. It's not funny at all.
Nope, really? Not funny. Action's not good. Literally, I didn't like anything about it. I like Kevin Hart. I like Woody Harrelson. Nothing in this movie worked for me. Basically, what happens is Woody Harrelson's character, sorry, I don't remember his name. I don't really want to remember. This movie sucks. But he plays like this badass assassin dude, and he gets tasked with this mission. And then Kevin Hart's character like gets mixed up in something and ends up going to this like deal.
Oh, and they think he is the Woody Harrelson
they think
character.
He's the cool guy. Yeah. But he just hasn't arrived yet. And then it's just like a whole bunch of shenanigans. It just fucking sucks. Like, just bottom line, it's trash.
That sucks, because I love Woody Harrelson.
I do. He's a great character.
And I like Kevin Hart in most things.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Kevin Hart, but I do enjoy him.
Yeah.
But yeah, it did not work in this at all.
Was it like their dynamic didn't work out or anything?
Nothing.
Like, that's a bummer. Dang, that kind of sucks. Because I don't wish Woody Harrelson to have any bad movies.
Yeah.
All right. For me, number 2, I just watched this movie last night, so it's fresh in my mind. But I will say that if I had watched this movie when it came out, it probably would have been my number 1 worst movie of the year. But because I just watched it last night, I'm only going to put it at number 2. And that is, from the MCU, Morbius. I think it's kind of...
I mean, technically, it's Sony, but, you know.
Well, but he's still part of the MCU. In fact, the end credit scenes of it are like some of the craziest like end credit scenes I've seen in a while. Because at the end credit scene, one of them is in No Way Home, Spider-Man No Way Home, when they make the rifts and then like people cross over from other universes, and you know how like Venom came over into our universe, right? And then left behind a little piece of him. So obviously, yeah. So apparently, when that happened, a different version of what's his name? Oh my gosh, why can't I think of his name? The first villain, the villain from the first Spider-Man. Oh God, Hawk.
Green Goblin?
No. From Homecoming, Spider-Man Homecoming. Oh my God, what is his name? Vulture. Yeah, Vulture. So apparently, a different version of Vulture gets transported into our current universe and is imprisoned. Or I guess he gets transported from our universe into... Because Morbius is supposed to take place in the same universe as Venom and whatnot, right?
Sony stuff.
So I guess the guy from our place gets transported into that universe, but he gets left there instead of getting dragged back into their old universe. And so he ends up like appearing in a jail cell, and they let him out because in their world they had no idea who the hell he is.
Okay.
And then he ends up making a Vulture suit again. The Vulture suit does look cool.
Surprise!
I ain't gonna lie. Vulture suit is pretty dope. But then he meets up with Morbius in like a random field, and he's like, "Hey, we should team up because it sounds like we have common values and shit." And that's that.
All right.
It's horrible.
Yeah, I have not watched this movie, and I almost want to, and I like sick,
Dude.
twisted way of like.
Yeah. So what I will say is, I think this is one of the most indisputably bad movies of the year. Like, I think this is something that I don't think anybody thinks it was a good movie. Actually, that's not true. I'm pretty sure I remember.
I'm sure there's somebody that likes this.
I'm pretty sure I remember Connor's friend. What is his name? Oh my God, Dietrich. I'm pretty sure Dietrich said that he didn't mind it. Not that he liked it, but he didn't mind it.
Yeah.
But this movie was horrible from start to finish. Like, the movie started out with the Morbius or Dr. Morbius like finding bats in a cave, and then he just stood there with a cut hand, and that's how the movie starts. No explanation about anything, about who he is, about why he can't walk normally. Like, it's horrible. And then the entire movie is based off of him coming up with a cure to a disease that involves using bat DNA to splice into his own DNA to cure the disease. And obviously it goes wrong. But then one of his best friends, that's played by Matt Smith, I believe is his name, right? It's Matt Smith, right?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Matt Smith. And he injects it into himself, turns into Morbius, and then he's like, "Oh, this is a curse. It's not the cure." But then his friend, who is suffering from the same disease as him, is like, "Give it to me too," and ends up like stealing it from him and turns into the villain. And now they got to fight, and the whole time there's like no explanation about anything at all. It's literally just them fighting for like half of the movie. It's so retarded. And then at the end, the love interest for Morbius gets killed by his friend, but right before she dies, they kiss as like, like a nice little like parting kiss. Yeah. But she bites his lip. She bites Morbius's lip and drinks his blood. So then now she's also Morbius
naturally,
character. Yeah. So that's how bad the movie is, Taylor. It's so bad. The whole time I was editing while watching it, and there was multiple times where I stopped editing because I was just like, "What the fuck did I just see? Like, what the hell was that?" It was so bad. I don't even care for like the CGI and stuff and the way they make him look when he's doing using his power and stuff. I don't think it's good at all. Like, I think it's kind of shitty actually. Yeah, it was really bad. It probably deserves to be number one, but number one left such a bad taste in my mouth that it's...
Yeah, we'll get there. Yeah. We'll get there. Well, all said and done, it's Morbin time.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I got for number two. What do you have for number... Did you say number two already?
Yeah, that was The Man from Toronto.
Oh, Man from Toronto. That's right. Yeah, so that's my second worst. Yeah. All right, so before we get into our top choices, or our top worst choices, I should say, I just want to say that, like, I don't know. We've been talking a lot of shit about these movies, but I think it's important for there to be bad movies. Like, I think it's important for us to be able to be like, hey, that was a bad movie, so that in the future we can try and not make that happen. Yeah. So, like, everything that we're saying it because, like, we want these things to be better. Like, I wanted Samaritan to be good because I love Sly. I wanted Morbius to be good because the whole, like, dark anti-hero thing that Sony's doing with the MCU could be cool. Like, it could be cool. So, I don't know. But let's dive into our worst movies of 2022. I'll let you go first because...
Yeah. Yours is...
it's going to ruffle some feathers.
Oh, yeah. All right, so my number one worst movie of the year. Shout out to Apple TV.
Oh.
Spirited is a Christmas movie starring Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell.
Really? Were you the one that was telling me that you watched it and it was horrible?
I don't think so.
I think somebody else told me that.
Yeah, I've never talked about this movie ever since I watched it.
It might have been
for good reason. This fucking movie is, oh man, it's horrible. Like, just plain trash. Dude, Ryan Reynolds, like, for as much as I like you, and to me, you generally can do one thing, which is yourself. And Will Ferrell, I think, is a great actor. He's kind of the same way, but I feel like more he has wider range than Ryan Reynolds to me. This movie is supposed to be like a new version of A Christmas Story.
Oh, right.
This is fucking awful. It has nothing about this. Nothing's funny. I would say, looks like shit. The chemistry between the two,
between Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell,
like, it's bad, and I don't know how you fuck that up because they're so good and they're both so funny.
So Ryan Reynolds is Scrooge and Will Ferrell is the ghost.
Yes.
Okay.
I can't remember which one. Like Christmas Past or whatever. I don't remember. I don't remember which one he was.
No, but Will Ferrell is the ghost that like takes.
He's one of the ghosts. Yeah.
Right.
They make this like weird fucking style of like doing the ghost thing, but it's like a job, and they're like employees, and it's got this like other world that they can travel to where they all work at, and they're like, oh, they. What? It's like a version of Elf with Santa and the Elves, but for the Christmas Story with the ghosts and the world. And Ryan Reynolds' character is supposed to be like, the Scrooge character. He's like this asshole, like sexy man, piece of shit, dude, whatever. Yeah. And then Will Ferrell's character, like, he's a ghost of something. I forget which one, but a lot of the shit that happens in this movie, and this might sound funny, but it doesn't even make sense for a Christmas movie. Like, some of the shit that happens, like, they over exaggerate certain things to seem funny, but it just doesn't work. Like, they just, like, Will Ferrell's character is just a fucking dumbass. Ryan Reynolds' character is an asshole, but in the movie they almost like overdo the, oh, he's so hot. Like, one of the ghosts literally fucks Ryan Reynolds.
Wait.
Are you fucking kidding me?
What?
Like, one of the ghosts is like this, like, I'm sorry, I don't know your name, but her outfit is literally like just a man's button-down shirt. Like, like if you had a girlfriend that like came over and like you slept together and she woke up the next morning. That's her outfit for the fucking movie. A Christmas movie for kids. And she literally sleeps with Ryan Reynolds in the movie. Like, you don't see it happen, but why the hell is this in a Christmas movie? And then on top of that, they like, I think there's a few songs, right? Of course, it's a Christmas movie. All of them fucking suck.
Are they originals or covers?
They're all originals, I believe, and they're awful. I thought the idea, because I saw the trailer for this, and I was like, oh, Ryan Reynolds singing? Sure, I'm down for that. Yeah. Will Ferrell singing? Love it. I love when he sings.
Will Ferrell holiday movie? Yeah.
He's great at it. Like, but this movie just bad.
Damn.
In so many ways.
That sucks.
And I don't even remember if I finished it. Damn. Like, I feel like I turned it off because I was just like, nope, I can't do it.
Wow. Okay, well...
This was like, if there was an abomination of a movie, this for me is one of them.
Damn, that really blows. Because, like you said, the two actors are.
It sounds like a dynamite idea. Yeah, having those two actors together, and somehow they fuck it up.
Damn. I don't even remember that, like, being like, it kind of just popped up. Like, it didn't really get a whole lot of attention, and then it just happened.
Yeah.
So
I hope it hasn't gotten a lot of attention. Like, I hope you don't watch, like, people don't watch this. But if you were thinking about it, please don't. Damn. And Apple, don't ever do this again, please.
Yeah, that's sad. That sucks. This video is kind of depressing. But I'm about to make y'all's day right here. Right now, this is gonna ruffle a lot of feathers. Okay, this is gonna ruffle a lot of feathers. This is gonna ruffle a lot of my friends' feathers.
Here we go.
And it's gonna be really controversial, and I'm actually genuinely interested to see what you guys think, and I want to hear from your perspectives down in the comments below.
Ladies and gentlemen, come at him.
But this movie, for all the hype that it got, for all the anticipation that we had going into it, for all of the optimism that people were telling me to have, this movie felt like a punch in the face to me. My worst movie of 2022 is The Batman. It was so bad, ladies and gentlemen. It was so bad that my wife asked me if we could turn it off. She usually is asleep 10 minutes into the movie. So the fact that she stayed up because it was so bad and asked to turn it off means it was really bad. Because she's not hard to please when it comes to movies. So, like, what I will say, I'll give you the one redeeming quality of this movie or one redeeming thing. Colin Farrell's performance as the Penguin was awesome. Top notch.
Hell yeah.
Top notch. I loved Colin Farrell as the Penguin. Thought he did it very, very well. It was incredible to see the transformation of him. Like, he looks nothing like Colin Farrell. Like, the Penguin looks nothing like Colin Farrell. In fact, like I bet you a lot of people that don't really pay attention to the cast list and stuff probably had no idea that was even Colin Farrell, and that unless somebody told them or they stayed for the credits. That to me is the only good thing about this movie. Everything else sucked. I hated Robert Pattinson as Batman. I felt like I was watching Edward Cullen or whatever his name is from Twilight. I felt like it was just Edward in a Batman suit.
It really is.
That's what I felt like I was watching the entire time. Like, it was horrible. I hated the Batmobile. Like, it was a cool concept.
Nope.
But it was horribly executed. Like, I don't know how you mess up the Batmobile. One of the most iconic things from all of, like, comics in general. Like, I remember as a kid, my dad took me to a car show one time in Colorado, and they had the original Batmobile from I think it was oh gosh, what is his name? Same guy that plays the Vulture. What is his name?
I don't remember.
Oh my god, it's gonna piss me off. Well, they had an original Batmobile, and I loved it. It was the coolest thing I saw at that car show. And so, I don't know how you fuck it up. They took a Dodge Challenger and threw a rocket engine on the back and thought it was cool. Like, how? What? And the rocket engine, all it did was spin up and scare a couple dudes that were walking next to it, and then that was it.
I don't know why they were scared, but
the Batmobile did nothing. Okay, that scene that they show in the trailer of it like launching through the flames and like, oh, it made survive. Like, okay, what? You're telling me a Dodge Challenger, like a 1970 Dodge Challenger with a tube frame?
This kind of gives me a chance for us to talk about this movie since
right, because we didn't do an episode.
Yeah, because I wanted to. Okay, look, that car chase is awesome, but you're correct, and this is what I hated about it was. Ain't no Challenger doing this. Yeah. Get the fuck out of here. You're gonna flip like immediately and just crash. That car I highly doubt handles like that. At least smoothly. No. Especially at those speeds.
Even if you did a ton, like you would have to put in a ridiculous amount of work to that car to make it even remotely perform like the way it did.
Dude,
how do you the
introduction of the Batmobile in anything, whether it's comics, movies, video games, what have you. It's one of the most iconic things for Batman. Yes. It is always like, it's like oh my God, it's Batman. And this movie, it was so
underwhelming.
Dumb. It looked stupid. It like I said, to me, it felt like, I guess they were trying to make it seem like, oh, it turns on and it's like, and I knew at that moment that I saw those headlights, I'm like, all of you, like, brand new privates, airmen, Marines, what have you, have a huge hard on right now because you're like, oh yes, muscle car.
What made the Batmobile so cool in a lot of the original films was that it was something that we never saw before.
No, it's intentionally supposed to be like this super futuristic,
advanced,
non-realistic, like hyper advanced vehicle.
Yeah.
Like imagine like if they did this to like James Bond, right? But they gave him like a fucking Tesla. Get the fuck out of here.
Oh god, it was so bad. I hated that. I do not care for Catwoman at all. I thought the dynamic between her and Batman was weird. It almost felt like rapey, almost like it gave me very like just it was weird vibes.
I will say, Robert. First of all, Robert Pattinson as Batman. Get out.
No,
just stop,
done.
please. Completely disagree with anybody. Like, there was very little acting, in my opinion, from his performance in this movie. Like, he literally just stands around, or sits there looking emo, or walks around looking emo, or just says like super short lines.
Okay. Let me break this down
like,
for you guys real quick. All right, Batman. Right. What makes Batman so powerful in that world? Because he's literally just a dude with tools and some skills that I learned in the mountains.
Well, not this bad.
But like what makes Batman so feared is the presence that he holds when he comes onto screen, right? Like when Batman appears on screen, he commands your attention and your presence and then beats the shit out of you, right? That's what Batman did, and that's why people feared him so much, because he was like a shadow. Like they just didn't make sense, right? In this Batman, Robert Pattinson, every time he appeared on screen, looked like a sad, lonely dude standing in a Batman costume, waiting to get his autograph from Christian Bale at Comic-Con.
He got his ass whooped immediately.
And then when he started fighting, half the time he did all right and had a few moves here and there, and then he got his butt whooped.
For the most, I feel like he pretty much just got his ass kicked the entire
like
movie.
what is this? What are you doing to Batman?
Say in the beginning of this movie, to me, in the very beginning, as soon as it starts, it sets the right mood, and then it just goes completely in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Like as soon as he enters and he's like, and he's in the scene's right. But then he gets his ass whooped
by a bunch of
fucking
dudes with
idiots.
pipes that look like low level criminals. This
is the thing that I know people
okay.
will praise this movie for, and they're like, "Oh, but now we finally have like the detective Batman." Yes, that is one aspect of Batman.
The detective Batman, like seeing him in the crime scenes and stuff.
Well, yeah, like
him working with
doing
police.
Actual like forensics and stuff like that is definitely part of Batman, but that is all this movie had. He got his fucking ass whooped the entire movie. Like you can't
even
just
like
put
that aspect of it.
But I like that they tried, but they almost did it horribly, because they'd be like, "Oh, the Riddler," which I will say, I did like the Riddler.
I don't care for it.
I like the Penguin. I like literally everybody except Batman and Catwoman. But the Riddler, he would just give these riddles, and then Batman immediately solves them. Like, oh wow, you didn't need a whole lot of fucking thinking for that.
So
and then he'd be wrong because he'd be the stupid, like Rada, whatever the fuck it was. Like, oh great, so now he's just a dumbass on top of that.
When they announced the cast list for this, and I saw that Paul Dano was going to be the Riddler, I was really excited because I actually really like Paul Dano as an actor. I think he is a great casting for the Riddler. I do not like how they turn the Riddler into another version of Scarecrow.
I will disagree but agree in the same time. So fundamentally, I agree with what you're trying to say, but he's not the Scarecrow in my opinion. My biggest thing, even though I think he played the Riddler well, is the Riddler in this movie isn't really the Riddler, and he's more of like a weird spin-off of like the Zodiac Killer or like Zaz, like one of the other many villains that are also great, but they're all different in their little way.
Yeah.
And they turned the Riddler into this weird, like, admittedly, like, he's creepy and like he's a cool villain because he plays it well, but you're changing to me what I feel like the point of the Riddler is.
Yes.
Like the Riddler is supposed to be this like super smart, cunning, devious, sometimes arrogant and like that's asshole.
That's what it. So in the comics and stuff, that is his Achilles heel, is that he's arrogant.
Right.
But for a long time he gets the best of Batman. But in this movie, it seemed like Batman was like a step ahead of him the whole time. Like he was just like, "Oh yeah."
Until the very end, then it's like, "Oh, sure. Your entire thing was fucked up because you're an idiot."
Yeah. And then they brought in this whole thing with the parents and how what's his face had put the hit out for his parents or whatever, and just like I don't know. I can't remember if that's actually part of canon in any of the comics or anything, and it may be, but I think part of what made Batman special was that his parents just got killed in a random mugging, and it was supposed to be just happened, and it was something that happened to him, and he is the result of that, not because somebody put out a hit on his parents.
Yeah, it's supposed to be just kind of like a random act of violence.
Yeah, so. And that's what made him turn into somebody that was trying to prevent a random act of violence.
Because he saw how corrupt Gotham City is and all that.
Yeah. So it's just, this movie to me was horrible. I hated it. I struggled through watching it. It's probably
I will say this is one of 2 movies that I had watched this year that I checked my watch.
Yes.
Multiple times.
I had to really like focus and tell myself, hey man, we're doing this. Like I'm doing this for the channel. I gotta be able to actually talk about this and give coherent points and be authentic. So I gotta watch this. But I'm telling you right now, it's the hardest movie that I had to watch this entire year. And I think the biggest thing it was that I didn't watch this movie right away. I think I was out of town when it came out, and I didn't get a chance to watch it when it came to theaters. And then like a couple weeks later, we decided we wanted to do an episode on it. So I was like, all right, I'll watch it. And I watched it, and I just, all the anticipation, all the good things that I've heard about it, oh man, they couldn't have been farther from the truth. They were so bad to me.
Yeah. I also really like the music personally. I do think it was very cool. I think overall
I could say that I enjoyed
the movie score. Was cool. Like I like that it was supposed to be like it's so weird because it's like dark like, oh it's even more realistic, but it's like, dude, I don't know, like it's got the feeling of that, but it doesn't. Like there's so many points from like that's not real, that's not realistic, like that's not real. It's like, what,
you're picking and choosing what you want to be realistic.
So and I don't like that. Yes, it is supposed to be more realistic, but it's really equally as stupid and like, well, I won't say stupid, but equally as like I don't know, like imaginative of like other superhero movies. Like there's a lot of things in this that are fake as hell. Like did the fucking, they want to say it's super realistic, and then they have this like ridiculous contact that has like all this fucking advanced technology like inside of it. And it's like that doesn't exist, bro. Come on.
And my biggest gripe with this movie is that they forced Andy Serkis to be a part of it. They probably didn't. They probably didn't. No. Let me elaborate a little bit. I like Andy Serkis, and I don't mind him as Alfred. But because the rest of the movie sucked, I feel bad that Andy Serkis has to be a part of this movie.
Yeah, but I mean,
and it pisses me off that they're tainting.
I would say the same thing for all the other actors. I think are really good in this. Like I love Commissioner Gordon, Colin Farrell. And like a lot of, like I said, literally the main characters I fucking hate. There was like zero chemistry between Batman and Catwoman. And then even Catwoman's character, like they try to add to, I guess, I believe this was like pulled from like another, some comic that I forget the name of it. But not a fan of it.
No.
She just seemed like a fucking boring, like useless character that was there just to be attractive or whatever. Yep. And sure, you could say that about Catwoman, I guess, in general, but I don't know. I didn't believe in it. Like she didn't believe, or she was unbelievable to me in the fact that she was this like heist, super smart, cunning thief. Like, nope.
Yeah, I don't get it at all.
And then Batman's just a weird stalker that for some reason gets laid.
Oh my gosh! If they continue to use Robert Pattinson,
they're gonna continue. They will finish the Matt Reeves Batman series.
I'm not gonna watch any of it. I'm not going to,
because people just love this movie.
I'm not going to. I'm not gonna say that I'm gonna boycott it because I don't care enough to. I will rewatch the Dark Knight trilogy instead. So, if y'all want to fight me down in the comments below about the Batman, you're more than welcome to try. But there have been people that have tried to convince me otherwise, and I have not heard any good arguments yet for any of the things that I've talked about. So, feel free to comment down below with your thoughts on my thoughts on the Batman. But that brings us to the end of this video, ladies and gentlemen. We gave you guys our 5 worst movies of 2022. Obviously, this is our opinion. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not like set in stone fact.
I want to give one. I'm not going to explain it or anything. Just one dishonorable mention. To Pause of Fury. That's it.
Ooh. Yeah, I remember you telling me about that. For my dishonorable mention, I guess I'll just go with Black Adam. Really underwhelming. And the fact that the best part of the movie is not meaningless. So, do you think when they put it out on a streaming platform, they're just going to wipe that part from the movie?
What?
Superman's cameo.
For Black Adam?
Yeah.
I mean, it's on there. I rewatched it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's been out.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Oh shit! Was it on HBO?
I think so.
Oh shit! I don't want to rewatch it.
I didn't think it was like that bad, but it's definitely not like amazing.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, what was the worst movie that you guys watched this year? What was the movie that when you were watching, you were like, man, I want to turn this off? Or are there any movies that you guys turned off and were like, I don't want to watch this? Let us know down in the comments below, and then we'd love to dispute anything and just talk to you guys and interact about the movies that we talked about in this one, and as well as our last video where we talked about our 10 best movies of the year. So thank you guys for all the love and support. It's been a really, really fun last couple of weeks. We gained like 8 subscribers, which I know it's not that big of a deal, but for us it's a huge deal. Like any subscriber is awesome. So and there's been a lot of views lately on the channel. So thank you again, you guys, for all the love and support. We really appreciate it. But please like, subscribe, comment, share with a friend. Check out our social media links down in the description below. And we'll catch you guys in the next episode.